Hello all, this is Damini, co-founder of WeMakeScholars. Welcome to yet another episode of our web series Discover Study Abroad. So in this series, I interact with different students who have made it through the entire journey of studying abroad. That is through the admission process, application process, education loan, funding, everything. Yeah. So in this session, we have Pooja Narayan with us. She's from Bangalore and she has got into TU which is Technical University of Hamburg in Germany. So in this session, I will be asking her about, her profile, what made her get into TUHH, and why did she choose Hamburg, and also how did she manage the whole funding process. So let's start. Hello Pooja, hi, how are you doing today?
Hi, Damini. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good as well. So Pooja, first of all, thanks a lot for taking out time and coming for this session, even though in the middle of the pandemic, we are shooting this video. So thanks for taking time for this.
That's all right.
Okay. So Pooja, I wanted to have this call because, when I saw your profile and, your education loan also through WeMakeScholars, you have an excellent profile and you've got into one of the TUs in Germany. So I was really excited to have the call with you so that, our viewers, my channel subscribers who are looking to study Germany, they can learn something from your journey. So yeah, I'll start with a few questions, but before that, I would like to know a little bit about your background. Where do you hail from? Where you grew up? Where did you study? A little bit about that.
Okay, so I live in Bangalore. I have been here for
Hmm.
past 2 decades. I graduated in
Okay.
the year 2019 with a bachelor's degree in electronics and communication engineering. And soon after that, I got placed in an MNC and have been working there for 2 years as a project engineer.
Okay. Okay. Sure. So, when you decided to study abroad, I'm sure when you would have told your parents, were they like kind of a little shocked? Hey, why do you want to go abroad? You're having a kind of a good career. Why do you want to break it? Why do you want to study further? So, were there any questions and were there any apprehensions from their end?
No, like my parents knew right from the beginning that I always wanted to do masters. So when I told them,
Hmm.
they were completely fine with it, and thank God they were really supportive. And they just want
Hmm.
me to make sure they want me to use this opportunity thoroughly. That's it.
Okay, sure, great. So now, Pooja, a lot of people, may not be aware, those who, plan for other countries, that, there are technical universities across Europe, which are kind of IITs of India, right? So they're very famous for their technical education. And, being TU Munich and, TU Hamburg, where you have got into an other TUs there, right? So you have got into TU Hamburg, which is one of the top universities when it comes to TU. So how does it, how do you feel about it, and what do you think that was important to get into TH?
I feel really great. Like TUs were always on my list, and considering the German education system, TUs have really great value when because they are mostly into research. And to get into TUs, I made sure that my profile impressed them a bit. Having a good academic background or publishing research papers in journals, I think my work experience also played an important role in that to get a seat in TU Hamburg. And I'm really happy and
Okay.
about it.
Okay, so now, see, as you pointed a little bit about, getting into TU was your, academic profile and work experience. So, would you mind sharing that, what exactly was your academic profile, probably a bit of, what kind of scores you have, what kind of GPA you had, so that, people can have a placement in their mind that, this is the kind of profile you should have when you're probably targeting TUs.
Yes, I had a CGPA of 8.5 in my engineering,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I did a research paper, as I told you, in my final year.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
research paper plays an important role if you want to get into
Yes.
any TUs in Germany. And apart from
Hmm.
that, I also worked as an intern for about 6 months.
Hmm.
So internship, your good grades, and a research
Hmm.
paper is really very important. Even if you are having, around 7.5-ish or something, if you have the
Hmm.
other criteria done, then I think there are around 80% of chances to get into a
Hmm.
TU. And of
Okay.
course,
So,
work
and
experience.
yeah, sure. So, do you think that the course which you're going for was that your research papers and your kind of internships were they in line with the kind of course which you're going for? Because I think that's very important, right? When you portray the story that this is what I have worked on, and that's why I plan to pursue a master's in this area. So, was there a interlinking in that?
Yes, it was. And I also worked in an IT company. So it was
Hmm.
basically about information systems. And the course which I'm going to choose is also a combination of both what I had studied in my engineering or on what I did in my internships or my research papers on, plus my work experience. So while choosing my course, I made sure that I chose a course that would, uh, connect everything.
Which is okay, sure, got it. So, is it, I mean, if anyone is watching this, that they have an 8.5 GPA, do you think it's easy? I mean, let's say if they have a one research paper also, so is it easy to get into a TU? I mean, how do you put it? Because
Uh,
why I'm asking you this question is because I did apply to TUHH. Let me share. I haven't told this to my probably subscribers on this channel anytime that I applied to a couple of German universities and I did apply to TUHH, but I was kind of late for my application. I think your hard copy of documents in 2012 it was like it has to reach the university by 30th May, but I sent it kind of late and I think they didn't receive hard copies on time. So yeah, so but it was one of the dream universities. I really wanted to get in there. So yeah, so what would you say to a student like me, like me at that time? So was it, easy? Is it easy to get in, or I mean, can we dream about it, or is it something very out of reach for someone with an average profile?
I don't want to disappoint anyone by saying like it's difficult, but definitely you should
Hmm,
try if you're having a good CGPA or any other
hmm.
criterias, and just make sure that your profile impresses them. That's it.
Hmm. Okay, sure. So I think viewers keep this in mind. TUHH I know is one of the, a lot of people want to get into that, whether it's TU Munich or TU Hamburg or, other TUs also, right? There's TU Delft and Netherlands. So yeah, so if you're trying to get into a TU, make sure that you have good grades, you have research paper, which, Pooja highlighted a lot. And I agree with you, Pooja, on that because there were a couple of other friends of mine, who have got into TU. They all, had at least, if not an original research paper, they all had at least a review paper publication so that, they had some impact factor to mention on their resume. So, sure. So, Pooja, now coming to your work experience part, as you rightly mentioned that your work experience was also in line with, your course. So do you think that, that added value? Because sometimes, a lot of people say that, if your grades are not that great, if you add work experience, it kinds of, it overshadows whatever, let's say, grades are, if it is lesser than other people you're competing with. So do you agree with that?
Yes, I totally agree with you. Like work experience is somewhat mandatory, not mandatory, but really it's like an
Hmm,
added advantage if you're
hmm,
choosing technical universities or any other universities. Like
hmm,
who would not wait for a student or help? I mean, who would not want to get a student who has a work experience?
hmm. Correct. I mean that makes it more clear that you are an expert of that area, and that's why probably you're trying to enhance your
Yes.
skills with the masters, right? So sure. So yeah, so Pooja, now coming to the education loan front, so I wanted to check with you that when you thought of studying abroad, was it always there in your mind that you're gonna fund your education through education loan? Because see, German education is kind of cheap, so that's why I think a lot of people choose Germany over countries like US or Canada. But you still need kind of 15, 16 lakhs funds. So was it always clear that you're gonna go for an education loan, not through self funds or things like that?
Yes, I was pretty sure that I will be taking an education loan because I didn't want to burden my parents because I feel they've done a lot already and I didn't want to put this burden again on them. And I thought I should take this on my own.
Okay, sure. So I think it kind of gives you a sense of independence also when you're managing your cost of education, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so you approached We Make Scholars instead of directly approaching the banks or NBFC. So what made you think that it'll be a better idea to go via We Make Scholars rather than directly?
To be very honest, I had no idea about any banking terms like the repo rate or what is that?
Floating
Okay,
rates and fixed rates and things like that.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
the
Okay.
repo rate, floating rates, and also I had no idea about all these banking terms. So all I did was I googled them, and when I did, I saw WeMake Scholars website, and I found this very interesting that you guys being a bridge to connect students and the banks. So I thought I should give this a try. And when I read the reviews about it, I was pretty shocked seeing that you guys are doing this for free for students. And that quite impressed me. And I was like, I should go for this.
Okay, sure. So now I want to ask you something. When it comes to finance matters, a lot of people are very apprehensive about trying out digital solutions. And a lot of people write in their reviews also, when they heard of We Make Scholars, something which is free and someone is helping you and so great reviews. So it sounds too good to be true, right? So were you have any apprehensions about it? And especially, parents, because generally finance and loans, these kind of things are taken care, with your father's permission, right? So were they okay with you trying
Yeah.
something digital for your education?
Like more than me, my parents were like, "Are you sure you want to go with this? Because how come they're doing this entire thing for free and not charging you a rupee also?" So I was like, I was like, I wanted to give this a shot and see how this works. And later on, they were also quite impressed with the services they provided.
Okay, okay. So I think it was you who convinced them to take this new age solution. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So now you got in touch with WeMake Scholars, and I think Janardhanan was assigned to you as your financial officer. So how was, your whole interaction with Janardhanan, and what are the best things, some of the best things of your interaction with him?
As soon as I submitted my applications and all, the next thing I had to do was the bank process. So I just mailed you guys and I got a call back within a day or so. And my financial officer, Janardhanan, called me and he explained me, he walked me through this entire process, how it's going to be. And soon after I got my admit, we started doing all the process, like submitting the documents online. And I think in 2 days, I started getting calls from private banks too. But my top priority then was a government bank. But the entire process went on really smoothly because as I told you, I had no idea about this, about the banking terms and all. So whenever a doubt used to pop in my head, I used to pick my phone up and I used to call my financial officers. I think I have called him a plenty of times, and every time he has explained me every term or any doubt that I had very patiently. And that was the best thing about having a dedicated person to answer your doubts that
Yeah, and
we usually don't get in if we go directly to the banks. That is what I observed when we go directly to the banks versus going through We Make Scholars.
I think that's always there, Pooja. I mean, see, when we are taking the education loan for first time, there I'm sure there will be like thousands of questions. What is this? What is this percentage? What does this
Yeah.
mean? Will I be charged if I pay it early? So many things, right? So, and I think there should be someone who can answer you and probably trustworthy information also, right? Something so that person shouldn't
Yeah,
bluff like anything, right? So yeah, so I get it.
exactly.
Yeah, sure. So now, did you feel that the financial officer was knowledgeable, with the kind of questions you were asking? Were you convinced with the kind of answers you were getting?
Yes, I was pretty convinced because most of the doubts that I had was related to the banks or about their interest rates or suppose this floating rate. I was pretty worried about if it's gonna increase in between or how it's gonna work. So he explained me thoroughly with the floating rate. So I think he's pretty knowledgeable.
Okay, sure. So one more thing I saw, when I was going through the whole case, that you were initially, as you also mentioned, that you were initially more inclined towards government banks, and you had a few collaterals also, but then that couldn't be worked out because of some issues and all, right? Some concerns. So I think your major idea of going with government banks was that you didn't wanted your parents to pay the interest while you're studying, right? The course period, that moratorium period. But finally, because we have gone ahead with a private bank, now you will have to pay interest during moratorium. So are you kind of comfortable with that, or do you still think that government banks would have been a better choice?
No, I think that is fine. I think it's fine for them to bear a little amount than burdening them with a huge amount. So I thought the partial interest or the full interest that they'll be paying would be a little less than the entire cost of me going to Germany. So I think that is fine. Like because I was always fixed that I want to go with an education loan, and I didn't want to depend on my parents. But due to such scenarios, now a little help is what I needed from
Yeah.
them, and that's fine.
Yeah, I
That
totally,
is okay with
agree with you.
it.
See, after work
Yeah,
experience, that I think when you work for 2 years or so, and then you live
yeah,
that independence life, right? Financial independence for 2 years. After
yes,
that, you don't feel comfortable that your parents are bearing something. That's why a lot of people prefer government banks, because they will not have to. Their parents will not have to pay anything during moratorium. But I think in your case also, we were trying for that, but I think at the last minute it didn't work out. So anyways, so I think that was all about the loans, and I'm happy that we could help you and other students, fulfilling their dream, getting the funds on time. So we at We Make Scholars, and I think that's what we are here to do. So Pooja, now the last question is that now as you're going to Germany, a lot of people would have this thought in mind that what is the employability? Can we settle, and can we you know how many years can we work, what is the job scenario, and things like that. So can you shed some light on that? I'm sure you would have done your research that I'm going to Germany, that's what my further plans are. Do you plan to come back to India soon after your graduation masters, and you plan to stay there? So what are your future aspirations?
I believe that if you're dedicated towards something, you will work towards it and you will achieve what you want to.
Yeah,
So,
true.
if it's your dream, if it's your passion to go study abroad, then I just want to say that you should go for it for the ones who are aspiring to go to Germany or any other country. And I just want to take this as an opportunity and gain as much knowledge as possible and be a successful engineer.
Okay, so do you plan to stay there for a few years after your masters, work over
uh,
there, or
I am planning to stay there and work.
okay. So do you think that, is it easy for a non-native German speaker to get a job? Because I think that's kind of a concern which I hear from a lot of students, that, do we get good jobs if we are not native German speakers? Do a lot of companies prefer, localites? So what are your, thoughts on that?
It's definitely not easy. I think we require a good German skills if you want to work there. So if you want to go to Germany and if you want to study there, then all I can say is start learning German from day one itself. So German is really important. Like I have heard from a lot of seniors too. If you want to work there and if you want to build a good social life too, you need the language of that country. So I think that implies to any other country. So I think that is the only thing that you have to keep in mind if you want to work in Germany.
Okay, sure. And I know for a fact that a lot of Indian students or international students when they go to Germany, they do take a lot of additional classes. So there are classes conducted to advance their German, right? Not just the certificate which you get to get admission. I think you get advanced level classes for free in your campus so that you can improve your language skills, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So I think, Pooja, that's all we wanted to know from you in this call. So, and I'm sure this will be very useful for a lot of people who are planning to study in Germany. So it was actually a request on my first video of Discover Study Abroad, the series which we are running, interacting with students. So there were comments that, why don't you bring someone who's going to Germany? We want to know from their journey. And, when I got in touch with you, I was kind of hopeful that if you revert and if you agree for this, it's gonna be a very helpful video. So thanks a lot again for
It's my pleasure.
accepting this request and coming for this session. So thanks for your time, Pooja.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Damini.
Bye bye. Have a good day.
Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon to never miss any updates from us.